This is Star Wars in Character, the podcast that takes a closer look at some of the characters in the Star Wars universe you probably never noticed. Backstories, histories, and details you never knew, wanted to know, or ever need to know. Now here are this week's panelists of Star Wars in Character.
Today we are talking about Ric Olie.
Are you sure?
We just had a 10-minute discussion. We still don't know what his name is.
What is it, Tim?
It's either okay. These are the three pronunciations.
Oreo.
It's either Ric Olie, Ric Olie, which I've always said for the past 13, 14 years, or Ric Olie because there's that accent. The accent.
I want to hear Chris say that one.
Which one?
Olay.
Captain Obvious.
Pretty much.
All right. Ric Olie.
Olie.
A bullfight.
That's what I was just thinking.
He
The Reek is charging at him.
He appears in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Olay! Well, my name is Chrisissant.
Oh, you had to have used that
No,
before.
I looked it up, Matt. I had Coruscant Chris,
Oh, okay.
Potato.
but I changed it to Chrisissant.
All right.
Wait to hear yours. Ready?
I love the croissant sandwiches at McDonald's in the morning.
They are good.
Sausage.
Olay!
Olay!
I always think of Dennis Leary when I think of a croissant sandwich.
Why?
He did a bit about that. He's like, no wonder the French hate us. They give us the croissant, we give them the croissant sandwich. Here, have a croissant sandwich.
Remember that? Today I am joined by Matt Boo.
You know planets?
No,
Oh, Naboo.
Matt Boo.
These are good.
So yeah,
You're back.
I'm back, baby. To my right, Feed Dave.
Wait.
Oh, now you're
Feed
just toning that one in.
Feed Dave.
Because there's a D at the end?
That's the only reason.
So it's the Dave.
No, Feed Dave.
The Dave.
Not the Dave. Feed Dave.
The Dave.
Feed Dave.
But you put a space.
Because I like saying Feed Dave.
And who doesn't?
Hey! And I'm joined by Bravo Squad Tim.
Okay, I see where you're going with that
3
one.
for 4.
Hey! Bravo Squad Tim.
Yes.
Give us some facts about Ric Olie.
Jungle Love.
Ole, 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 ole.
Olie.
How you feeling?
Does
Anyway.
he die? Does he get burned up? Do you know why?
Why?
Hot! Hey!
Now, I hope you guys brought your no-dos because we are this one is on Valorum class level of entertainment, I think.
Well, this is a great choice to come back after a month hiatus.
Yeah,
Tim.
we've
Good
been off
job.
for a month and we come back with Ric Olie.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Tim. There's been characters you talked about that I've had zero interest in. This one, I don't know if you say it tops the list or bottoms the list. This guy's got nothing for me. So good luck. You guys might have to call me when we're ready to do the next episode.
Yeah, you know what? I
might
chose
fall
him
asleep.
because I can't think of a more boring character that has had more 10 lines or more. I mean, he is a pretty significant character in the Phantom Menace, but there's as Chris said earlier, Captain Obvious. His main role is basically just to literally state what is happening on screen. That's his only reason for being there.
Yeah,
So they should have
there's the
called.
blockade.
They should have called him. Well, no, that's not. I was gonna say Rick Exposition, but that's not even true either.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
adds nothing
I
to
mean,
it.
we'll get in. We'll talk a little bit about that. But for those of you who are not sure who Ric Olie is,
There'll be another
Ric
episode out
Olie.
next week.
Yeah. He is a human starfighter pilot from the planet of Naboo. He with the extreme male pattern baldness going on there. Now, Rick, he is an expert pilot he's pretty skilled. He is trained to fly any ship in the Naboo fleet.
Well, not for nothing. It seems like everyone that flies a ship is trained to fly any ship in any fleet in Star Wars.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Han Solo can. Well, did we see Han Solo? Oh, yeah, we did see him fly the
Shuttle
Tiberian.
Tiberian. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rick even gives the control panel to a young Jake Lloyd. Here, fly this.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like,
Yippee!
like sitting on your dad or your grandpa's lap, and he just sort of like, here, put your hands on the.
It's not like that.
Put your hands on the stick.
Shift.
Hot.
Olay!
Now,
I don't
Rick,
like that scene because you guys find him boring. I mean, he doesn't really do anything, but I didn't like anything in the Phantom Menace, basically, and for some reason that guy didn't bother me at all because maybe he was taking a liking to Anakin and going to teach him something.
That's funny. It's like I wouldn't say the complete opposite. Every time I see him, I'm just like, get him off the screen. He just sucks.
He's just useless.
I don't even like looking at him. I'm like, and I think and I hate to say this, not that I should ever comment on the way anyone looks, but Tim nailed it down. It's like, not only is his hairline receding, but the hair he does have sucks too. It's like, this is the worst visual character ever in the Star Wars universe.
the poor guy.
It's a shame.
I remember when this came out, and Tim. Now this is slanted because Tim loves everything in the Phantom Menace.
I do.
But I remember you would always talk about this guy and how cool he was.
I mean, I don't dislike him. I do enjoy him because I like he sort of he's kind of like a cool uncle, because Anakin's right there on the ship and he's looking at all the things and he's sort of like taking an interest in this little kid. All the other people on the ship.
Down.
I mean, not an interest, but he's.
Does he call him handsome Anakin?
Who would do that?
But he talks to him like a normal person. He's there and he's like, oh, you catch on pretty quick. Yeah, this button does this, and don't hit that button. That'll eject the queen. Oh, shoo. No, but
Oh no!
I cannot breathe in the void of space.
But no, he does. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of like, as you're a little kid and you go to the fire station and a firefighter showing the little kid how everything is. How does the siren work? Press that button. Woo, hey. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and maybe
both you guys have kids.
No, I thought it was.
I don't want my young kid to learn anybody like that.
Because Anakin has left his mother and Qui-Gon's going to train him and yada, yada, yada. But they do seem to ignore him a lot. And that guy, you're right. He's like, this kid just, left his mother. Let me show him a few things and kind of pass the time or whatever the deal is with the guy. I kind of got into that. I think
I just figured out why I don't like looking at this guy. he looks like Buffalo Bill out of drag. I'm afraid he's going to make a skin suit out of everybody. That's why I don't like him.
Well,
do your Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, every time you mention Buffalo Bill, you have to do the impression.
Yeah. See a real big fat person.
That's funny.
Don't eject the queen.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Rick's past. He's. I kind of have to compare him a little bit to Luke Skywalker in his young age. He was kind of like Luke, where he was kind of like he would daredevil fly small ships around the plains of Naboo, kind of like how Luke would fly his T-16 Skyhopper. He would fly a little ship called the Sky Flipper. So that was his little practice ship, and he crashed his ship a couple times in his youth, but he kept rebuilding it. So he was pretty skilled at everything having to do with this ship. He could rebuild it. He could fix it. He was pretty skilled.
So every time he went on, he flew his ship. He had on a tool belt because he knew the thing fucking crashed. And let's do it again.
Not every time he would crash, but
I read though that he'd crash a lot of ships.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't make him really sound like a skilled pilot after all.
He was it takes skill to crash and survive, I think.
Okay.
Was he like Hal Jordan, like a test pilot or something? Like was that like maybe he was really courageous because he was crashing these things? Like he was trying to keep other people safe. You guys aren't giving Rick a chance.
No, I mean he wasn't like a test pilot. I think he was. I guess maybe on Naboo, like and kind of like on Tatooine, we see in those deleted scenes with Luke. It seems like these ships. It's almost like a muscle car culture. Like teenager kids, they always just want they want to work on the car that they got.
Mm-hmm. So he's kind of like Han Solo in that way.
A little bit. They're a little bit of Han, a little bit of Luke.
He's not. This is all right. You guys.
A little bit of Monica.
You guys are condemning this guy. I'm listening, Tim. I'm listening.
Oh no, I mean the story is fine. I'm trying to make the best of what Tim's presenting, but I would have never in a million years ever wanted to learn about this guy. Is what I was trying to say. I guess from the beginning.
I mean, after he used all his skills that he learned as a kid with this sky flipper. And he decided to go into a career as a pilot, but he went to school. He went to the Shamel Sector Academy to advance his skill in a career as a pilot. So I don't know if this is a military type academy. There was no real information on this.
Is that the CHI Institute of
Chai?
Yeah.
Intergalactic, whatever.
But while he was there, he actually saw a lot of combat. I guess the school, they allow their students to go out and fight pirates in space. So he got a lot of experience with dogfighting while at the Shamel Sector Academy. And while he loved piloting, he loved flying, he loved going places, he didn't really like leaving Naboo. So he didn't want to accept any jobs that were off planet. He wanted to stay close to home. So he decided not to accept any careers like with the Republic or with security forces on other planets. He decided to take a position in the Naboo Royal Space Fighter Corps.
Well, is that for the little bit that you see in Naboo, the people on Naboo seem like they were proud of being from Naboo. Like, is that for whatever reason in the little scenes that were on there, they seemed like they were kind of isolated and they were almost like Switzerland. It was like, we're going to do our own thing. We're from Naboo. Leave us the hell alone. We're better than you almost in a certain way. Like, that's the vibe I got from all those people.
Hey!
Yeah, it seems like they're a pretty well-to-do culture. It seems like, everybody helps each other, even though they also seem a little too elitist.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like, that's the vibe I got from them. And it's not necessarily a good one. So if he was like, maybe he was a really talented guy, but I'm only going to work for Naboo. I'm not going to do anything for anybody else. Yeah,
that might be it. The elitism, like Sio Bibble gives Qui-Gon a little bit of attitude, right? When Qui-Gon shows up, showing him your negotiations didn't seem to work, dickhead. and even Padme, when she sees Jar Jar, she's like, "You're a Gungan, aren't you?"
You're wrong.
I was wondering when we were going to get a clip in there. So there may be some of that personal Nabooian pride that keeps him there, and also it's a nice picturesque planet.
I don't think I like people from Naboo in general. Very, very prejudiced against those folks. Because of all the things Tim just said, they seem like they got a stick up their ass about being from Naboo. That's what I think.
All right.
Now As we can tell, like, Naboo seems like a pretty peaceful place, and with him going off to this academy, he was a little bit of a rarity in that he was actually a Naboo pilot who had actually seen combat out there fighting pirates. So his experiences allowed him to rise in the ranks of the security corps pretty quickly, because I guess maybe he turned into a guy who would actually do like real time simulations for the actual pilots that we do see, the other pilots that we see throughout the Phantom Menace, helping train them with their dogfighting skills or what have you. But as we get to the Phantom Menace, he's pretty high up. He's actually, in terms of his only direct superior at this time was Captain Panaka.
Oh boy.
So if Panaka's in charge of the ground, he's in charge of the air. So these two guys pretty much are the best last defense for Naboo.
Well, I guess the air had it better than the ground then, because he seemed like, even in that last battle, they're not doing very well until Anakin kind of stumbles into whatever he stumbles into.
Whoopsie.
But he does seem more adept to his job than the window shooter.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, he's pretty skilled. He's got a pretty level head. He can pretty much maintain his coolness, I guess, if we can even call it that. But yeah, when I'm sorry.
I was trying to make a bald joke about getting more air to his head, but I couldn't think of one.
When we finally see him in the Phantom Menace, he's probably at the pinnacle of his career. He's literally personally piloting the Queen in perhaps the biggest event ever to happen in Naboo. This is Naboo's like thing that all they're going to be telling their kids about for the rest of eternity is this invasion, and that's pretty much it for him. He goes. We see him do all the stuff in the movie, and then nothing. He has no story after that. We have no idea where he goes.
Wow, I kind of expected there to be a death story since we didn't see him again. And
no, it's just sequels. He just goes, credits roll, and you never hear from him again. He is one of those things, as we brought up earlier. Chris mentioned Captain Obvious.
Yeah,
and I was trying to think of all the times when he pretty much states the obvious just to
wrote him
push.
down, Tim, here for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
He actually, when he sees the blockade, he says, "There's the blockade."
There's the blockade. Yep, I have that one.
When they're trying to fly in Tatooine, he says, "That's it, Tatooine."
Yep, he points out Tatooine when we see it.
When they're trying to fire at the ship, and they didn't hit it, he says, "We didn't hit it."
Yeah, that wasn't us.
Captain.
And then the thing I have is when they get to Coruscant, he's there to just pretty much explain to Anakin and everybody sitting in the auditorium that Coruscant is one gigantic city covering an entire planet. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, that's him that says that to him?
Yeah. It's just one big city.
I'm surprised they didn't fly by a sign that says "Welcome to Coruscant." They said, "Well, we're at Coruscant."
We're on Coruscant. There it is, Coruscant. I'm sure there's other things in there. I remember when the movie came out, Steve, our friend Steve, used to point out the same thing. This is before I even noticed it, but he used to point out the same thing. He would always say all he does is just explains what's going on screen.
Can you imagine taking a drive down south with this guy and seeing those south of the border billboards? Every 500 miles south of the border.
South of the border is in 500 miles.
Yeah.
Look, Pedro so sad.
Long fucking trip.
What is that called in a script when like the script will tell you like the setting and that kind of stuff?
That's what I thought when I was calling him Rick Exposition, but this is worse than exposition. This is like movies for the blind.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically turns Phantom Menace into an audiobook.
You know it's time to turn the page when you hear Ric Olie say,
"I didn't hit it."
Pretty much.
Maybe that's why I liked him, because I didn't understand what was going on, and I needed him to guide me through.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that if he wasn't in there, if we just took out his lines and showed the Phantom Menace to someone who had never seen or heard of Star Wars, I think they would have a harder time figuring out the story.
Do you think he's this obvious during sex?
It's in now.
About to insert.
Thank you, Matt.
Is that what you wanted?
I wanted someone to say something like that.
Insertion is imminent. Completion is happening.
I'm all done.
I didn't hit it.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah, boom goes the dynamite. Experience afterglow.
Almost lost Mike number 7 through a cascading laugh of beer.
Now, as I said earlier, his post Phantom Menace career, nothing is known. Does he live? Does he die? I would like to think that he just returns back to his humdrum Naboo security job, and eventually retires with a comfortable pension.
Why?
He's at a Naboo old age home shouting out the obvious.
Yeah, he gets his Archie Bunker
pills.
He's the bingo caller. B4
rice pudding today.
That's awesome.
Now, as dull of a character as I probably think the world at large sort of thinks of him as sort of a dull character. He was in he's had a few action figures released. He was in the first wave of Phantom Menace figures on that night when Chris and I waited out for midnight.
Stupid.
To go.
I love when I hear these stories of you guys doing
to go and get these.
I didn't even buy any of the figures.
Really?
I don't think you did. I bought one of each.
I just went just to be a part of something.
Oh my god!
You always do that. You'll do something, and I'll go, "Oh, did you buy something? Oh, did you? No, why? I just wanted to be there.
Just wanted to be there, see what's going on.
Just want to be involved."
Star Wars Reads Days.
But yeah, on that Midnight Madness for Phantom Menace, Chris and I went to Toys R Us there in Montgomeryville, and I remember buying his figure. He was one of the first ones. I don't remember how many they put out, like 12 or something like that. But yeah, he was in that first set, and then he was figureless. There was no figures for the past 13 years until earlier this year. They made a new figure for him.
Hey.
Yeah, so it was a Ric Olie drought for the past decade and change, and you can, as of this recording, you can go probably to your local Walmart and pick it up. He's I think it was a Walmart exclusive, and he came with a pair of 3D glasses.
What?
Yeah, like the red and blue 3D glasses. Like they put out this line of 3D Phantom Menace figures, and he and two Naboo pilots in the same wave. But he comes with a helmet this time.
Maybe that's what I remember about Tim, because for whatever reason, I remember Tim like being really into this guy,
Literally.
and maybe that's what it was. Maybe he bought the action figure and is like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be badass," and it was just like, not
so much.
I think I would have. I think I probably assumed that if they were in the first wave, these guys are the ones going to make all the impact in that movie. These are the tastemakers of the entire film. There's got this Jar Jar guy who's going to be a breakout hit. Ric Olie's probably his sidekick. They're going to kick ass.
Tion Meadon's going to be like the big villain.
Yeah, I mean, before the movie came out, because I tried to go in as spoiler free as possible, and all I had were those action figures, and I probably did assume that he was going to be, this guy's going to be kicking ass. He's going to be pulling hearts out, still beating and taking a bite out of it because he's such a bad motherfucker.
Is he
Why-
Roll around.
Yeah.
Why else would he not have hair? I mean, that would just be stupid to have a character with no hair.
Lobot had no hair. Look how awesome he was.
See,
This guy's
actually, there's a difference between no hair and his problem. No hair makes him much cooler. What he has is just sad. It's like, you look 50, but you're probably only 35.
Was he in the disco ball at the end with everybody celebrating? Was he up there amongst the?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he was knelt down under Paneka's legs with his hands under his chin, smiling because Paneka's standing there with such his legs wide open.
Oh my god.
That visual was much better than my description.
I'm visualizing it. It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's like a totem pole of
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was standing up there. I would think he was because. Well, I guess then all the Naboo pilots should be up there. Like even the lady.
What's her name?
I know the actress's name, Celia Emery, but I can't remember what the character's name was. But
well, just because I'm a novice at this stuff, like try and refresh my memory. Like they're up there fighting, and Anakin gets swept away accidentally. He crashes into that whatever that horseshoe Prometheus ship is.
Yeah.
And do any of the other Naboo pilots shoot anybody down? I mean, do you ever see them shoot anyone down or have success, or is it just the accidental flying into there of Anakin and the destruction of that thing from the inside out? Is that all you see?
Yeah, pretty much the Naboo fighters. If I remember correctly, it's been a few months since I watched the Phantom Menace, but I think they're getting their asses handed to them.
It's only been a few months since you watched it.
It's only been to me that's an eternity.
Because we're getting to the point where I can say it's been a few decades since I've seen the Phantom Menace.
Wow.
Okay, because I didn't remember if it was like, I remember that happening, and he even says somebody says like, did we hit it? And he was like, it's one of ours from the inside or something like that. I don't know if it's him. Somebody says that.
Well, whatever it was obvious, I'm sure.
Yeah.
None of them do anything until the little kid accidentally blows everything up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's all serendipity, baby.
Okay.
That ship just blew up.
We didn't hit it. It's not one of ours. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on the character. I just have a little small amount of behind the scenes information. Ralph Brown, British actor Ralph Brown portrayed him. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in With Nail and I. He had a part in Alien 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, Alien 3.
Oh, yeah. He was the guy with the low IQ, right?
Was that Alien 3?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They called him like 76 or something because that was his IQ test. Wasn't that him?
I think You may be right. It's been a long time since I've seen Alien 3.
It's hard to tell because he had a hat on.
There's the alien egg, obvious.
Something's killing all these people.
The role that I know him most from is he played Del Shannon, the experienced roadie in Wayne's World 2. He's great in that movie. And the funny thing is, we talk about his male pattern baldness. In Wayne's World 2, he has a full head of long hair.
Really?
Yeah.
That clip.
He's great. I mean, we'll probably post it on Facebook. He tells this story. I mean, he tells a bunch of stories in Wayne's World 2, but the funniest thing I think is when he was telling a story about having to go get M&Ms for Ozzy Osbourne. He's like, it takes 1,000 brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass.
That's great.
I love this. I loved him in Wayne's World 2, and he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in a Mean Machine, a British football movie, and the most recent thing I remember seeing him in is he was in Pirate Radio. He played a DJ in Pirate Radio, which I don't think any of you guys have seen.
Nope.
In the UK, it was called The Boat That Rocked. It's about a pirate boat radio.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah.
I think you went into the Phantom Menace already liking the actor. Seriously, I think you already liked him from Wayne's World and all that crap.
Yeah, I mean, Ralph Brown is a cool dude, and we met him. Geez, it was at one of the last two celebrations. I can't remember which celebration. It was either 4 or 5, and we met him there. And he was a real nice guy. And I was actually surprised he was there because Ralph Brown had said some shit about Lucasfilm in general.
Ooh, what'd he say?
Around the time that this movie came out, around the time that Phantom Menace came out, he was pissed because. He was pissed because a lot of these actors, the peripheral characters that were London based, and they worked on this film, and they weren't invited to the London premiere or anything. I mean, this guy has a relatively significant role, and he was kind of pissed about the way that they were treated in terms of the respect that the actors got, like not being invited to the premiere, a lot of different things when it had to do with promotion of it, and I think also with the compensation they received. So he had burned some bridges, I think, with Lucasfilm around the time that the movie had been released. Kind of, and the guy who played Panaka, he had said some similar things around the time. So that may have been a reason why we didn't see Ric Olie in future films. It also could have been that, it was decades later and there was no real reason to put him in there.
Right.
But I personally would have liked to have seen him show up in at least Attack of the Clones. I would have, and as as I've said in previous things, and I think you guys agree with me to a certain level, that my biggest issues with the prequels is in terms of cast, there's very little overlapping cast other than the main characters throughout the films. And it would have been nice to, even some of these peripheral characters, for them to show up, even if it's just for one line, and he just walks in and goes, "Hey, there's a Jedi."
They're making
like
clones over there.
Yeah, there were scenes on Naboo with them before they were rolling around in the hay and shit. They could have had him just pass through the background or something.
You should have said, "Hey."
It wouldn't have killed anybody.
Yeah. That boy's a Jedi Padawan learner. You can tell by the braid on the side of his head.
That's Anakin. He's grown up now.
It is 12 years on. Something like that. Just
or he walks out in the field during the love scene. This scene is ridiculous.
Goddamn ridiculous. So that's my little soapbox again about the prequels.
Good. I'm glad we waited a month for that.
Ric Olie is what's his name? Olay?
Oily.
He is the third best character in Phantom Menace. That's my soapbox.
First two?
Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, Ric Olie.
Wow.
Who's 4 and 5?
Everybody else is tied for 4 and 5.
Okay.
Panaka and Valarum.
Yeah, there you go.
So guys, that's all I got.
It's been a while since I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a cool website?
I have a funny website. It harkens back to pretty much the running joke of this theme. If you go on Darthopedia, which we've used before, it's the joke Wikipedia. This entry for this character is written from the point of view of everything being obvious about this character. So it's Ric Olie, whatever the fuck his name. His entry in Darthopedia says like, his name is obviously 7 characters long. There's obviously a space between the C and the O, and there's an obvious accent over the E. The whole thing's written like that.
I love it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I like this game.
Tim will be right back. Well, Dave.
Well, Chris.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. And thank you for being patient with us during our brief hiatus.
Did Ric Olie came on again and pointed out it's been a while? It's been a while since this show has been on.
You catch on pretty quick.
Well, as Matt had pointed out before we started recording, if we didn't take a break, we'd kill each other.
Yes. With Tim first. Tim first to go.
Again, stating the obvious.
Oh. Well, let's get to the scores in Imperial Pursuit.
Dude.
Yeah, I have
Imperial
no idea
Pursuit.
what the scores are.
All
I've
right.
totally forgotten.
We had quite a shift in our last episode. And in that episode, Matt took the lead with 17.
I did. I'm in the lead? I had no idea. That's awesome.
This is how long it's been.
Matt is in the lead with 17. And then I have 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tim has 10.
Guess what I got?
And what do you have, Chris?
Goose egg.
0.
Aw.
I think you lost my points.
No.
You dropped them somewhere. Oh,
No,
sure.
not really. No. So yeah, everybody's close. Like I was like way ahead for a while. I'm flirting with third place here, as Tim's creeping up and Matt's pulling away, and you're screwed.
It just isn't fair.
But you're gonna go first.
That's right.
All right. Your category before you hear your question, and you can bet 0 through 5 points, is Han Solo.
Oh, boy. Han Solo.
That's right. We bet points. I forgot about that part too.
This is ridiculous.
I will bet 5.
Wow. All
He's
right.
betting 5.
Don't get excited.
Betting 5 on Han Solo.
Betting 5.
Here's your question.
I'm listening.
What exactly did Luke offer Han in order to get Han to help save Leia in A New Hope?
Handy.
I was waiting. I was like, who's going to say it first? Because if no one does, I'm saying it.
Now, this is a quote.
She's rich. How rich? Oh! Sorry. I thought we just put a can of soda. Okay,
Yes, there's a quote that Luke tells Han, and it's an exact quote, and I usually insist on it, but if you get close, I'm giving it.
Can you read the question again, please?
Yes.
She doesn't need a bra.
And what exactly did Luke offer Han in order to get Han to help save Leia in A New Hope?
She's rich. How? More than you can possibly imagine. I can imagine quite a bit.
I thought it turned into a vaudeville act. She's act. A vaudeville act. How rich? Fuck! I can't get this joke out.
Third base.
Damn it. Never mind.
Who's on first? Like, what is? Does Luke tell Han that? I want to say that she's like rich. He says, "How rich?" More than you can possibly imagine. I can imagine quite a bit. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there was an amount.
She's so rich, her breast doesn't need a bosom holder.
I don't remember an amount given.
An over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
Thank you for saving that joke, Dave.
Hello, my baby.
Hello, my honey. Look at my nice perky tits.
Oh,
Um,
I will.
that's my answer. That's my answer, Dave.
You said a whole lot of shit. What's your answer?
Perky tit. I'm gonna say.
He just recited the whole movie. The answer's in there somewhere.
He says, "All right, she's rich. How rich? More than you can imagine. I can imagine quite a bit. Like that. I don't think there's money announced.
Okay.
I don't think there was.
All right.
But I'm a dumbass.
That's your answer. All that stuff.
Fuck your tits.
Okay. The answer is, and I'm gonna go to my fellow panelists for a ruling,
What?
and I will vote as well. The answer is, quote, more wealth than you can imagine, end quote.
Panelist gonna
Tim,
Yeah, he says something like, "Yeah, I can imagine quite a bit." And he goes, "You'll get it."
Tim, I just read the answer.
I know.
Yeah.
There's Tim with his Tim Ritz again. There's been no cure, folks.
Ric Olie right here.
The answer is, quote, more wealth than you can imagine, end quote. That's the answer.
I said
Tim,
that.
do you vote yay or nay on Chris getting that correct?
Chris, he got the scene. He pretty much got the gist of the scene. I say he gets the points.
Tim?
The question was yes or no, Tim.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
I'm saying yes because I think that's a stupid line. More wealth than you can imagine. She should have just said really rich, so I'm going to give it to him because he said it better than it was actually written.
I love you both.
All right, I don't even need to vote. That's 2, and
Well, what's your vote?
I would.
Yeah, what would you have voted?
Yeah, that's.
Oh my god, it's so good.
That's you would have got all 3 votes. This is like America's Got Talent here, and you, my friend,
Yes?
are going to Vegas.
5 points. Woohoo!
Nice job. Yeah, you said everything except wealth.
Say the word
actually.
wealth, yeah.
You said more than you can imagine, and it's more wealth than you can imagine.
Because I really was overthinking, thinking he offered him $16. Like I was trying to think of an amount.
$16.
Yeah, you know.
That's a lot of money at 77.
$16 to go to the turbo lift. I'll give you $8 when we step off the turbo lift. I'll give you $32 to break into the prison.
I got 5 points.
Yeah, you're at 5.
Wait.
All right. That means it's Timmy's turn.
Yay, Timmy.
And Timmy, your category is the Millennium Falcon.
Ooh.
As Ric
I
Olie
am
would
gonna-
say, that's a spaceship.
I'm going to go 3 points because they could go either way with that one.
Okay. 3 points.
Mhm.
The Millennium Falcon. Here's your question.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Here's your question. In A New Hope, the Millennium Falcon was docked in which docking bay on Tatooine?
Fuck off.
Docking Bay 94.
Couldn't hear you. What was that, Tim?
94! Docking Bay.
Are
That's
you
between 93 and 95.
Would help if I got out and pushed.
all right, Tim? That is correct.
Yay.
Nice job, Tim.
13 points.
13 points for Tim.
Feels good.
Docking Bay 94. 94? 94. That was pisses me off that he repeats him. Like he's old. And
He's Ric Olie.
he's like Docking Bay 94 and he goes 94. like he's like old and going senile and he has to repeat it or he's gonna
Just to
forget.
yeah.
I thought he was really slow in the force and he was trying to answer before him and just got out late.
Oh, shit.
I knew you were going to say that.
Docking Bay 94. 95. Ah, shit.
You're a fast taco solo.
All right, Matt. Your
Yes.
category is Yoda.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with 3 as well. Same reason as Tim. This could be prequel or the good Yoda.
Okay. Here's the question. Finish this sentence from Yoda to Darth Sidious in Revenge of the Sith. Here's the beginning of the quote. Quote, faith in your new apprentice, blank.
Misplaced.
Your answer is misplaced.
Yes.
The quote is faith in your new apprentice, blank, and you're saying the blank is misplaced.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go to the judges
Oh
again.
shit.
All right.
Tim, you go first. The answer is misplaced, maybe.
Oh. He got the gist of it. He got the main thing. I say yes.
Patience!
Oh, Dave's like,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go next, and
go ahead. Oh, don't put it on me. Tiebreaker.
Matt's ahead of me, and I'm gonna say no.
Oh, I'm glad you're not, taking a personal angle on this.
You're gonna say this? You're saying,
Yeah,
you're saying
I'm
that?
saying no. That he had to say misplaced may be. So, Chris,
You fucker.
you're gonna decide this one. Does he get the points
How
or
many
not?
points? How many points?
I'm not telling you.
No, well,
He bet 3
Matt,
points.
3 points. He gave me my points,
Mm-hmm.
so therefore it's only fair. Take his away. No, no, I'm giving it to him.
All right.
Ah, well, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
That's 2 out of 3. That's good enough for 3 points and puts Matt at 20.
And for the record, Dave, I don't need your vote to beat you in this round anyway.
Oh. Gauntlet thrown. All right, Chris.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't need to vote anymore.
These are some
Yeah,
tough.
because I wonder what my vote's going to be now.
Yeah, but you were ahead of me. I'm like way behind you now. You don't need to. I'm tied with Tim. If I bet 0, Tim and I are tied for second.
All right, I'm looking up the answer key right now fast. Your category is
Yeah, what's my category?
I was going to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Luke Skywalker.
All right.
Okay.
Every time I think I feel confident in one of these things, I get some kind of bullshit. Like, how old was Princess Leia and when she filmed the movie? So I have no idea how old Mark Hamill was when he filmed A New Hope, if that's what you're going to ask me.
In the Toydarian measurement system, how long is Luke's index finger?
When did Mark Hamill lose his virginity? Okay. Here we go.
All right, I'm going to bet. I'm tied with Tim.
7.
I can't catch Matt in this episode.
That's all right.
I'm going big. I'm going 5.
Are you saying
I'm not afraid.
you're not afraid of this question?
No. I got
No!
I gotta stay close. If I get this wrong, Tim's in second place. Yeah, I'm sweating this out, man. This is not fun. Why do we do this?
All right. This is all right, about Luke. Ready?
Come on, you're smiling already. I'm screwed.
What was Luke's last line of dialogue on Tatooine?
Okay. Even if I get this wrong, at least that has something to do with the friggin' movies. So I'm happy about that. All right, so he gets Princess Leia, and I always would pause it when they're swinging across to see if I could see her ass.
Don't do that.
Like you didn't do that too. Like
I'm doing it now.
Like you still don't do that. All right, so swings across, and
I know what you mean.
and he says, "Let's go, and don't forget the droids." And Lando says, "We're on our way." And then they leave. Now, at that point, they're up in the, leaving and separating, and he's talking to Han about, now I owe you one and all that shit. But they're not on Tatooine at that point. So I'm saying the last.
I'm sorry. Is this Tim's question?
I got to keep up with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, let's go, and don't forget the droids.
That is exactly correct.
Yeah.
Wait, everything he said?
Yes, let's
How
go.
freaking many pages long is that answer?
Let's go and don't forget the droids. Where's
Does-
the comma at in that sentence?
Does it have the bit about trying to see Princess Leia's ass?
Ooh. After
Does-
go.
Yeah,
That's a conjunction.
That's your.
And is the preposition. No. Let's go, comma, and don't forget the droids.
That's amazing.
All right.
That's exactly it.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
All right, so
Tim
that
got that.
means Matt's still in the lead with 20. I have
That's right,
18.
despite your shitty voting.
That's right.
Nobody got anything wrong, huh? So I didn't catch up at all. At all.
No, but you got a
got
respectable
5.
score. So
Oh,
it's
yeah, we're all right. We're all, yeah. Sorry.
Matt 20, I have 18, excuse me. Tim has 13, and Chris has 5.
Positive 5.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you know what we got to do, though?
I'm going to do it.
What?
Oh, what are you going to do?
Well, there's a couple of things that we got to do. Chris has a new buddy that he'd like to mention.
This episode of Ric Olie is dedicated to. I went to a Star Wars Reads Day at a Barnes and Noble, and actually met a fan of ours. His name is Todd Heckman. Todd, Ric Olie is for you.
That's sweet.
Yes.
And we also should mention, there's one of the cool things about doing the show, I think for at least me, and I think for a lot of us, is we get to meet, if you even want to call meeting someone online meeting, a lot of nice people. And there's no one nicer than the people over at Star Wars Fanbase on Facebook. And Dwayne and his wife Karen run this site, and it's really awesome. I mean, I don't look at Facebook a whole lot, but their things always pop up. I always read them. They're always fun to read. Super nice people. And they even just did some kind of thing where, like, Chris was joking around and we just got to 800 people that liked our page. And Chris was like joking around. He was like, oh, let's see how long it takes to get to 900. Well, they put a thing on their page and said, yeah, let's help these guys get to 900. And then like instantly we had like 15 people on our thing just because they're nice people. They seem to like our show. Don't know why. But they're super nice people, and we'd like to give them a shout out and thank them for just being so nice.
If they were in this room, we would say,
I love you.
Oh, I think I'd say Olay.
So, if you're not on Star Wars Fanbase and you're a listener of ours and you're not on our Facebook page, obviously, please get on there because we put stuff on. But if you're not on Star Wars Fanbase, please get on there because not only are they nice people, they put really cool stuff on their page.
Mm-hmm. They do. Yeah, they do like little polls, and they put up a bunch of pictures, like some behind the scenes and some artwork that I've never seen. So it actually is really neat to go on every day and see something really cool visually for Star Wars on Facebook.
I don't know where they find these pictures, man, because I'm always looking for different Star Wars artwork and whatnot. And I think I have a pretty good, I wouldn't say knowledge of it. I think I've seen a lot of them. They always put something on there almost daily, if not daily. I've never seen before.
Yeah. And I want to say borrowed some of those photos and put them on our wall once in a while.
I don't think they care because the other thing is nice about it is it seems like for the most part, there's a community, a Star Wars community out there in the world, in Facebook, just in general. And these nice people are true bastions of this community. Like, happy to promote anything and anybody that's promoting Star Wars and loving it, and really good standing members of this Star Wars community. And I'm glad that they like us and that we've become friends, if you want to call it that way.
Dave.
What?
Don't get excited.
Don't get excited.
As Ric Olie would state, Dave is gushing.
Sorry.
Well, thank you very much.
And also,
yes,
Matt, this will air before October 15th, won't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So we should do a little promoting of ourselves, though.
We should, yes.
That would make sense.
Would anyone like to do that?
Ric Olie?
Ric Olie would point out, the 2012 Podcast Award nominations are open.
They are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tim's like, what? They are.
Tim, have you nominated us yet? You jerk.
You bastard.
I bet you nominated other shows.
Tim.
Yes. I know my audio popped out for a second.
Yeah, that's it. Sure.
The perfect timing for that.
I asked if you nominated our show for the 2012 Podcast Awards.
And there was pure fucking silence after
that. No, literally for like 5 seconds, I had no sound coming through. I did nominate us. I went in there and put us up there.
Every day.
Happy to do it.
You can only do it once for the nominations.
Only once.
Yes. When voting comes around, you can vote every day, but they'll only accept one nomination from your email address.
Right. So if you have multiple email addresses and you like our show, go ahead and use all those suckers because hopefully we get nominated. You were nice enough to nominate us last year. We were honored. And if we're nominated this year, we think we can bring home the bacon this year. I don't know.
I think so, yeah. Our listenership has grown, and I think we've got, what do I want to say, stronger ties to the Star Wars fan community with help with friends like Star Wars Fanbase, like you just were talking about. I think we got a good shot of winning, and it's, it would be nice. I don't think there's any prize with it. I think there might be a trophy, but it's really for bragging rights, and I wouldn't mind having those bragging rights for a year. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
It would be cool. And what we're asking is to be nominated. You can only nominate shows once, except for if you're going to nominate them in the People's Choice category. So we're asking to be nominated in the People's Choice category and in movies/films.
Yes, because ironically, of all 4 current running neozaz podcasts, Star Wars in Character is the only one that qualifies, and the main qualifier is the amount of episodes you had in a year. So I find that really ironic, because I said that like my New Year's resolution last year was to produce more shows, and I've done the complete opposite. Oops.
Well, if you have a couple of seconds, you go in and you type our name in the box, and then you have to put in our URL, which is swic.neozaz.com. And you only have to do that one time per email address until the 15th. And if we get nominated, we're really going to pester you to vote for us.
Yeah. If we do get nominated, if you listen to this in the future after the nomination process has ended, and if we are nominated, you can vote, I guess, once a day from different email. So if you have 10 different email addresses, feel free to vote for us 10 times. Hey, we're not going to complain, but we're,
Yeah, I'm not sure
if we are nominated, we just ask for one vote at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they track that, because I know you can track IP addresses. I don't know when they get to voting if they get a little more stringent, but what's it going to hurt? They'll throw out the other 9 if that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's podcastawards.com. And we have a lot of listeners of our shows that have their own podcasts, like the Loosely Based podcast and America MT.
Oh, yeah. Ricardo. One of our listeners, he has a great podcast, Talking Toys with Jeff.
Yeah.
A great, for those of you who enjoy classic toys, they got a great podcast about the history of particular toy lines. Each episode is about a different toy line. I know we're not always plugging other shows, but I think that's a great show. So that might be one that might be there in the nomination bracket that you could talk about.
And feel free to ask your brother, your father, your mom, anybody's in your family. Everyone loves their mama.
You do. That's all you do. You just sit here and just find ways to play that crap.
Someone just walked in.
Hello there.
You've been waiting a month to do that.
I've been waiting for that all episode, actually, too.
Oh, please vote. Don't vote for Obama and the other guy. Vote for us.
That's right. This is the real voting is about the podcast awards. The hell with the election stuff.
Exactly. Who needs Mitt? Who needs Mitt when you have Swick? I love it.
I like that. While we're gushing on everything everyone's done for us, I'll take a minute to thank all our new Facebook followers and all our new reviews on iTunes that happened over the month we were away. Even with this month's downtime, people continued to support us. I don't think it slowed down at all from our break. Maybe that's in part we made new fans at Celebration, or the fans we did make over this past year are just catching up. But I want to thank everyone for their continued support even during our break.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We love you all.
It's good to be back.
It is. I almost said it, but you hate it.
You paused. Why did you pause?
And we're back!
And thank you for bearing with our hiatus. But if you wanted to listen to the show for years to come, or who knows how long, we need to take breaks every once in a while because we all actually hate each other.
Yeah. When Dave voted against me, I was about ready to take another month break there.
Well, thank you very much. We must for listening to Ric Olie.
Olay.
Join us next time when we discuss RX-24.
Thanks for listening to Star Wars in Character. Star Wars in Character is part of the neozaz.com network of podcasts. For more great podcasts and original entertainment, please visit www.neozaz.com. Star Wars in Character is not affiliated with nor endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited or 20th Century Fox. Star Wars and all Star Wars universe characters, places, or Star Wars-related items are the copyright of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. Visit www.swic.neozaz.com for the latest Star Wars in Character episodes and information.
All right, Tim, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The triumphant return. Star Wars in Character.
Yeah, let's start off strong. Oh wait, we're doing Ric
With Ric
Olie.
Olie.
Ric Olie. How do you say his name? Olie, Olay?
I think it's Olay.
Olie,
I think.
Olay.
What?
Pretty so.
Well, there's that accent. That accent on top. I think it's Olay.
Is there an umlaut?
Today we're
No,
talking
it's-
about Ric Olie.
Olay.
I always call him Ric Olie, but so we can,
Call him
we
Ric
can
Olie.
introduce him as Ric Olie. I'm-
Do you have a hot queued up, Dave?
Olie. Oh, that's funny. I just got that.
Olay, olay, olay.